The night sky suddenly exploded with fire. Flaming arrows rained down from above, turning darkness into chaos within seconds. The enemy had finally found the Damul camp, and the battle they feared could no longer be avoided. Warriors rushed through the camp, shouting warnings, while flames spread rapidly between tents. Smoke filled the air, confusion spread everywhere, and fear threatened to overwhelm the people caught in the attack. What had once been a place of safety was now a battlefield. The moment the alarm sounded, Jumong sprang to his feet. There was no hesitation this time. His hand reached for his spear almost instinctively. Beyond the burning camp, enemy soldiers pushed forward through the forest. Torches illuminated rows of armored warriors moving with deadly purpose. They had not come to capture, they had come to destroy. Leading the attack was a battle-hardened general known for crushing every enemy placed before him. Calm, ruthless, and confident. To him, tonight was supposed to be an easy victory. Panic spread among the villagers as fire consumed more of the camp. Children cried, families searched for each other, and everywhere Jumong looked, innocent people were trapped between survival and disaster. For a brief moment he froze, not from fear of battle, but from the overwhelming reality of it. Training had never looked like this. Training had never sounded like this. Amid the chaos, she focused on saving others, guiding villagers through hidden paths, helping children run, refusing to abandon anyone behind. Even surrounded by danger, her courage remained unshaken. But danger was moving faster than she realized. One enemy soldier broke away from the battle and charged directly towards her. With no one close enough to stop him, disaster seemed certain. Then Jumong saw it. Without thinking, he sprinted across the battlefield. Fire burned around him. Warriors clashed beside him, but his eyes remained locked on a single objective. Their weapons collided violently. The struggle lasted only seconds, yet when it ended, everything felt different. For the first time in his life, Jumong had taken a life in battle, and no amount of training could prepare a person for that feeling. The noise around him seemed to fade for a moment. He stared silently, trying to process what had happened. Victory should have felt satisfying. Instead, it felt heavy. She looked at him with mixed emotions, concern, gratitude, sadness, because she understood the truth that every warrior eventually faces. Some victories leave scars that cannot be seen. The Damul leader quickly brought Jumong back to reality. The battle was still raging, and hesitation now would only create more loss. As he looked around, he saw burning homes, wounded villagers, and enemies advancing through the smoke. Something inside him changed. Not cruelty, not hatred, determination. For the first time, Jumong stopped reacting to the battle and began leading it. His voice rose above the chaos as he directed warriors and villagers alike. The uncertain young man was beginning to sound like a commander. Following his orders, Damul archers moved into the trees. Hidden among the branches, they unleashed a deadly rain of arrows upon the advancing enemy. Suddenly, the battle began shifting. Warriors coordinated their attacks more effectively. Traps slowed enemy movements. Small victories started appearing across the battlefield. For the first time that night, hope returned. At the center of the fighting stood Jumong. His spear moved faster and more confidently than ever before. Every lesson, every bruise, every painful day of training now revealed its purpose. The enemy lines began breaking apart. Soldiers who moments earlier advanced confidently were now retreating through smoke and fire. Their advantage was disappearing rapidly. Seeing his forces struggle, the general finally stepped onto the battlefield himself. His presence immediately changed the atmosphere. This was no ordinary soldier. This was a warrior who had survived countless battles. The battlefield seemed to hold its breath as the two warriors faced one another. Spear against sword, youth against experience, potential against reputation. The general's attacks were relentless. Every strike carried years of experience behind it. Several times Jumong nearly lost control of the fight, but unlike before, he refused to panic. Then the opening appeared. Small, brief, almost impossible to see, yet Jumong reacted instantly. His spear moved with perfect timing, knocking the sword away and ending the duel in a single decisive moment. The enemy soldiers stared in disbelief as their general fell. Fear replaced confidence, and one by one they turned and fled into the darkness. For the first time since the attack began, silence returned. Smoke drifted across the battlefield, while exhausted warriors stood among the ruins. The battle was over. They had survived. As dawn approached, she slowly walked towards him. The victory belonged to everyone, yet she knew the burden he carried was different from the others. Jumong stared at the blood covering his hands, not with pride, not with celebration, but with the understanding that protecting people often came at a painful cost. Then something unexpected happened. Before the gathered warriors, the Damul leader stepped forward and lowered himself slightly in respect, a gesture few ever received. One after another, the warriors followed. The same men who once doubted him now recognized him as one of their own, not because of his bloodline, not because of destiny, but because of what he had done. Far away in the palace, news of the defeat arrived. The first prince listened quietly, yet the rage building inside him was impossible to hide. His obsession with destroying Jumong had become personal. As the sun rose above the horizon, Jumong stood alone, watching the light spread across the land. The battle was won, but the journey was far from over. The boy who once searched for his place in the world was slowly disappearing, and in his place a leader was beginning to rise. His first victory earned him respect, but the next challenge would test who he could truly trust. Months of training had prepared him for this moment, whether he realized it or not.